We are in the Mingo Creek Presbyterian Church Cemetery, just outside of Monongahela, Pennsylvania. And if you want to study the Whiskey Rebellion, if you want to get to know some of these whiskey rebels, this is the place where you're going to find them. We are in Washington County, Pennsylvania, and during the Whiskey Rebellion, this location was the site where the whiskey rebels would meet. They'd have their courts, they'd have their decisions, they'd decide where they would attack, who they would single out as people treacherous to the cause of the Whiskey Rebellion. And again, you're going to notice in this cemetery a lot of flags. And these flags are here because most of the men who participated in the Whiskey Rebellion were Revolutionary War veterans. They were members of the Washington County Militia, and they fiercely defended their homes. They were Scots-Irish Presbyterians during the Revolution from Native American attacks. And in a lot of ways, because this was the center of the Whiskey Rebellion, the Whiskey Rebels were sort of a reunion of the Washington County Militia from the American Revolution. You know, we don't want to simplify it too much, but when you look at some of the prominent Revolutionary War veterans here in this cemetery, you'll see men like John and Daniel Hamilton, as well as John Holcroft, and the person we're going to meet next, James McFarland. And you'll notice they are not only Revolutionary War heroes, as denoted by their flags on their graves, but very prominent whiskey rebels. So there's a very fine line between hero and villain in this story. And I think that's something we want to key in on. So we're coming up here on the grave of James McFarland. James McFarland was very much the hero of this region in the Revolution. He was sort of the quiet man. He didn't say much early on in the rebellion, and he didn't engage in a lot of the really sort of tumultuous activities, but when the time came, here's his grave, he did show up to fight, and he lost his life. So here we have James McFarland's grave, marked as number 4. Here lies the body of Captain James McFarland. He departed this life on July 17, 1794 at 43. He served through the war with undaunted courage in defense of American independence against the lawless and despotic encroachments of Great Britain. He fell by the hands of an unprincipled villain in support of what he supposed to be the rights of his country, much lamented by numerous and respectable circle of acquaintances. And of course, they're talking about when he was killed at Bower Hill, the major battle of the Whiskey Rebellion in 1794. So he has a hero's burial for sure. But again, he complicates things because just 10 years after the Revolution, he was fighting to dismantle that country that he fought to form. Here we have David Hamilton, notable member of this early insurrection, prominent member here at the Mingo Creek Presbyterian Church. So if you want to meet the major figures of the Whiskey Rebellion, this is the place to come. But understand it's a complicated legacy. We celebrate these men for being members of the patriot cause in the American Revolution. The flag stands proudly in the middle of the cemetery. But they also fought against the Republic, ultimately fighting in a secessionist movement just 10 years after the American Revolution ended. So again, the Mingo Creek Presbyterian Church. If we look across the street, you're going to see a statue of a minister carved out of the stump of a tree. That was the original meeting place of the congregation when it was here in the 1780s and 1790s. They met under an enormous tree, an oak tree, I believe, and that tree has since fallen and collapsed into disrepair, as all living things do. But they've carved that tree into a memorial. Again, this is the modern meeting house here. That's what they carved into a memorial at the time. So if you want to see the 1790s, you're going to see it here. You're going to see a lot of names you'll recognize over and over again. Names like Hamilton, names like Scott, names like McFarland. These are Scots-Irish names, and that's no surprise here. Here we have the graves of two of those important figures. John Hamilton and James Hamilton, again adorned with Revolutionary War flags, you can see. So there's a lot to see here. We can't do that all today. It's rainy, it's nasty. But it's one of the great places you want to find. We have somebody down here, right? We're doing a little sightseeing here. A little starstruck, right? Meeting celebrities. We have someone down here, and of course, he's the big one. General John Hamilton. General John Hamilton, if there was someone who was the face of the Whiskey Rebellion, the leader of the Whiskey Rebellion, it was John Hamilton. John Hamilton was not only a high-ranking law enforcement official here in Washington County, but he was the head of the state militia in the region. He was appointed by the governor himself. And that's a real problem when that same person is also leading the rebellion that he would be forced to, right, put down if necessary. So these are the kind of things you see here. But John Hamilton, we definitely want to make a chance to have a chance to see him. All right, guys, we're going to have more of these videos coming up, but this is your kind of insider's view. So thanks a lot for watching. See you next time.